Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, distinguished guests, our esteemed viewers joining us from across Nigeria and all over the world. I am delighted to welcome you to another powerful edition of Connect with Comfort Show, the platform where ideas come alive, business well defined, and leaders empowered. I'm genuinely excited today to have you join us for a powerful session on the power of positioning, how to succeed better and stronger in quarter two than we did in quarter one. It promises to be impactful and be a practical conversation. I remain your host, Comfort Eyitayo. On this program, we aim to add value to people on business, enterprise, and personal growth. And on each show, we have special guests that helps us to share more insight into the topic of today. Today is no exception, so be expectant. You are most welcome. Now, introducing the topic properly. If we are to be honest with ourselves, quarter one often comes with energy, resolution, and a lot of targets, bold ones too. But somewhere along the way, reality sets in, plans get tested, momentum gets slow. And for many people, quarter one doesn't quite go as expected. The quarter one is the new year, January, February, especially the January that everybody do their new year resolution. But here is the good news. Quarter two is not just another quarter, even though we are a month gone in that quarter, we still have 2 months in this quarter two. It's an opportunity for us to reset. It's like a window to reset. It's our opportunity to reposition as well, refocus, and rebound stronger. So today we are diving into how positioning, strategically aligning ourselves, our brand, and our businesses can unlock better results in quarter two and beyond than what we have experienced in quarter one. And trust me, By the end of this show, our desire is that you'll be able to walk away with clarity, actionable insights, and renewed direction. Before we go further, it would be nice to share your own experience. You, our audience. In one word, how would you describe your own quarter one? You can drop your response in the chat. Was it productive, challenging, confusing, slow, or promising? This is not about judgment, it's just pure honesty. Because your starting point determines how you reposition. Now, let's build this forward. Let's lay the foundation. Positioning is not just about visibility, it's about relevance and perception. It answers three critical questions. Who are you known as? What problem do you solve? Why should people choose you? Many people struggle not because they lack skill, but because they lack clear positioning. So today we are going to unpack all this, why quarter one may not have delivered your expected results, what positioning really means in today's environment, and how strategically reposition for stronger quarter two outcomes. To help us to do justice to this conversation is our guest, who I'm excited to inform you that is already in the house with us. And in a short while, we shall be meeting him after this brief time out. Please remain connected. We'll be right back. And once again, thank you.
4, 3, 2, 1.
You are welcome back. This is time for us to meet our guest. Our guest is no other person than Dr. Olufemi Olumide, FCMC, CMC, PhD. Dr. Olufemi Olumide is a certified management consultant and a fellow of International Management Consultants, a serial entrepreneur, consultant, and a fellow of International Management Consultants, business development professional, and a management consultant with 15 years experience in enterprise and human capacity development. Olufemi has trained several organizations on customer services, business communication, peak performance, business growth, and emotional intelligence. In his quest for to develop human capacity, Femi had gained invaluable management and career experience, first at Visible Impact Consulting, a reputable management consulting firm founded by Mr. Fela Durotoye, where he served for 3 years as an invaluable member of the project management and consulting team. With further certification as a management consultant, he has spent the last 10 years facilitating for corporate Nigeria. Olufemi Olumide provides business development and growth solutions to SMEs in Nigeria, Africa, and the UAE. He has had the privilege of providing consulting and facilitating for individuals, small and large organizations like Lagos State Ministry of Education, Microsoft Nigeria, Dangote Cement, Access Bank, Sterling Bank, First Bank, Fidelity Bank, Diamond Bank, Union Bank, Total Nigeria West African Ceramics, Wonderland Recipes and Food, PAL Pensions, Body Organics, Star Restaurants, Shelter Homes, and Vesting. Olufemi is married to Africa's top and finest marketing coach, Tricia Bis. I hope I got that right. Tricia Bis. And together they dream of taking the world one business at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to welcome warmly someone who understands this subject matter deeply. Our special guest of today is someone who has helped individuals and businesses refine their positioning, build authority, and unlock growth. Dr. Olufemi Olumide, a business strategist, brand positioning expert, entrepreneur with experience in helping professionals move from being overlooked to individuals in demand. Please join me in making welcome Dr. Olufemi Olumide.
Thank you so
Femi, you are
much.
most welcome. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this for us once again. Actually,
It,
this is not
oh,
his first time on this show, so we are glad to have you back.
thank you
Partner in
so much, man.
thank you.
It's always a pleasure to be on this program, and it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the invite. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. So without much ado, we'll be going straight to our interview segment by asking, on reality basis, why do many people fall short of their quarter one goals?
Okay, so I will say that first things first is a very interesting topic because don't quote me anywhere, but if you take a group of 10 people together who have goals, who started out with goals for since the beginning of the year, you will find out that today is April 26th. You'll find out that there's a possibility that only 4 out of 10 are following their goals through, because things happen along the way, and it was going to reduce. It's going to reduce as the year goes in further. You will see that people will get tired and everything, fatigue and all of that. But I would say that talking from a professional point of view, in my opinion, that one major reason why people fall short of not hitting their goals in quarter 1 is because they didn't create a system around ensuring that those goals are reached. And when I say system, let me try to break it down as simple as possible. A system is anything that can work by itself. So, for example, in this situation, a system could be an accountability partner who is given a task to check on you, let's say once a week. Okay, you said you were going to do this, and this. Why weren't you able to do this and this? So many times we create those fanciful goals and dreams and ambitions, but we don't actually put in place somebody who can check on them. Number two, bringing it into the corporate setting. When we say systems, somebody must take ownership of those goals. So, for example, if you as I've given an example as an individual, now I'm about to give an example as a corporate organization or a business entity. You can't just say that, oh, our goal in this organization this year is to open a second branch and leave it like that. Somebody must own that goal. Somebody must be in charge of going to go and look for where there's available a new location for us to move to. Somebody must do the feasibility study. If nobody owns that goal, at the end of the day, you realize that you get to the end of the year and they'll be like, but we said we're going to move to open a new location, but nobody owns the goal. So we must create the system in such a way that we have champions of the goals, people who take ownership of these goals within the organization or as an individual. You must be able to have holds you accountable or have a system, a reminder system, whether it's an app, whether it's an alarm, whether it's something that constantly reminds us of the goals that we are trying to reach.
Brilliant. In fact, that is answer to two questions in one, because that's already telling us the mistakes that people make at the beginning of the year. Like you rightly said, not owning the goal, not having somebody responsible for the achievement of the goal, and
Mm,
just mere statements will not make that happen. And that's part of the mistake people fall into, that makes their goal usually not happening as the plan in quarter 1. Thank you very much for that brilliant response. Now, how can someone honestly audit their quarter 1 performance? Because if we are saying, okay, we did not achieve our goal in quarter 1, you must have a yardstick to measure how well you have done, or if you have not done anything at all, if you have done a bit, how well you have done. You have to be able to measure so that it doesn't just have a flat statement that can end up discouraging you.
mm.
How do you measure?
I think that first things first, we need to be able to separate our emotions from facts. So, if, for example, um, you planned, or you set out a goal that you wanted to make, let's say, $1 million, and at the end of quarter 1, you have not even made $50,000. Um, it's important that you can critically look at those numbers without emotions. And number two will be to actually find somebody who can look at those numbers objectively if you can't do it. Because many times we're too emotional, we're looking, we're emotional, and that affects us facing the facts. Um, so this is where you bring in a third party, somebody who is experienced, somebody who is won't be thinking about or what you did right or what you didn't do wrong. Somebody who can tell you, okay, this was the goal you set out to do $1 million. As at April, you've done only $50,000, or you've not even done $50,000. You know, I think that this was where the problem is, and this is what needs to be done. So if you can't do it for yourself, because some people may not be able to do a honest audit of their performance, get a professional, somebody who is going to look at those numbers with you and who is not going to be emotional about it, right? And as much as possible, um, try to have an open mind towards evaluating those numbers. Thank you.
Very good. You cannot do it yourself or be objective about it. Get
Yes.
external person. Like sometimes we do say you do not see yourself fully as it is. That may be a wisdom to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. For us to understand positioning, in simple terms, what does positioning really means?
Mm. Well, in my words, I will first say that positioning means standing out. Um, and positioning means getting people to be able to see your service, or a product as first in mind. And let me explain that. If you have 100 products doing the same thing, to position yourself as the better option, you have to do something that makes them remember that product, whether it is in the branding or whether it is in the market positioning, whether it is in your service delivery. There has to be something that you are doing differently from every other person in that market. So positioning actually answers one question: why should it be me? Why should be my brand? Why should it be my service? Why should it be us and not them? And that is a question positioning answers. Why is it me? Why should they choose me? What is that what is that thing that makes me feel like I am different? What's that thing that makes me feel like my product is different? What's that thing that they need to see and say, we want to buy this? That's what positioning means. So it's really about how people perceive you, how whether or not somebody remembers you when they see your brand or see your product, is really about who they remember first, right? And that's why as we go on, I'll probably bring in good examples. But you see some brands out there when they launch, they do everything. They try to get the market, they try to get the audience, they try whatever way, by advertising, by they look for a way to make sure that their brand becomes very memorable. That is what positioning is about. It's really about making sure that you remain the first choice to be selected. whether it is being, whether you need to be, whether it's a product or it's a service, or even whether you are the brand you are trying to sell. I hope I answered that question.
You have actually is like saying you are putting yourself or your brand, your product in the subconscious
Mm,
subconscious of people or viewers or customers, and that is very key because you see some products just by the mere name, something comes to mind,
mm.
and that those people would have achieved good positioning. So, on in the contrary, what does poor positioning? Because if we have good positioning, it means we can have poor positioning. What does poor positioning, how does it affect income and growth or visibility?
Okay, so poor positioning is really about not having a memorable brand, right? There are times that you're trying to buy something and you're like, "Ah, what's the name of that brand? Ah, what is the name? Especially, let me give an example. Let's say, for example, plantain chips. Plantain chips is a very common snack that we have in Nigeria. You can get it in the stores, you can get it on supermarkets, you can get it in traffic, it's everywhere, right? Um, but you see that many times when you get to a supermarket to go and buy something, you can't even remember the name of the plantain chips that you bought last. You're like, what's the name of that plant? What's the name? What's the what? And at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I beg, I can't even remember which one I bought last. Let me just buy anyone that looks like what I remember. And that is a very good example of poor positioning, because nobody can remember you, nobody can remember your service. They can remember the tastes they had, but they can't remember what it was. And sometimes you can't even remember the taste. Some brands you can't even remember. You're just like, okay, okay, I think there was one that was a bit good. So poor positioning has to do with developing a product, a service into something that is not memorable. I hope that explains, man.
Obviously, because in your analogy, you just told us how that uh, particular company or product had lost out to competitor
Hmm.
because you set out to go and buy that particular product because you cannot remember due to poor positioning. You have to settle for another brand, and incidentally, that another brand may now overshadow your own, and then that becomes your preference. So you
Mm.
would have lost out, and people lose out like that. So it's well said. Can you share a real life example of someone who transformed their results through repositioning that have done well with positioning?
Okay, okay, okay. So I love to teach about Chicken Republic. So permit me to use them once again as a case study. I always like to use them as a case study. So I would use Chicken Republic. Chicken Republic first launched as a brand called Chicken Licken. And I don't know if we remember. I don't know if there's anybody. If you're online and you remember the name Chicken Licken, just say yes, I can. I can remember, right? So they launched as a brand called Chicken Licken. They were just there. To be very fair, they were just there. I think they were about maybe three or four Chicken Licken in the entire Lagos. They were just there. They were struggling to be seen at that time. It was Mr. Biggs and it was Tantalizer that was dominating the fast food industry at that time. But maybe they came into the market too early. I don't know, but I would say that they were just there until something happened. The founders sat down together and they said, "This business can be more. This business can be better. There's something about this chicken business that we can do right." And they sat down and they said, okay, for us to be able to do this, let's put this in place, let's put this in place, let's put this in place. They came together, they brought some experts, branding experts, consultants, and they were able to raise some funding and they rebranded into the brand called Chicken Republic. And as you can see, the rest is history, because they went from a four chain restaurant into a, I don't know how many branches Chicken Republic has nationwide. Somebody can help us Google it and drop it here, but I don't know. But today, I'm sure they have over 500 branches all over Nigeria, right? And that, for me, is a transformational story. And I always like to use that story as an example of someone or a business who transformed through repositioning. So I hope that explains it.
Yes, it does. It does. So, what's in that explanation? Maybe you can deduce for us what are the key elements of strong position that maybe
Mm.
others can use, our audience can key into, resonate with.
Okay, so I would say that the number one key element of strong positioning is vision, right? Um, am I still live?
Yeah, you are. No, I'm just echoing. You said vision. I said vision.
Okay, fantastic. So I would say the first one is vision. That um, the vision has to be big enough. It has to be big enough to attract investors and to attract growth. So, if, for example, Chicken Republic said that, or at that time, Chicken Licken, the guys behind Chicken Licken said, "Oh, we just want to build, let's raise money to have two new locations, one in Abuja, one in Port Harcourt." They won't be where they are right now, but instead they redesign. It's okay at every point in time of our lives. It's We should get to a point where we can sit down and say, let's do this thing better. So don't be too hard on yourself when you're not seeing the kind of results. Yes, dream of having it bigger, right? But there has to be a time where you go back to the drawing board and say, okay, this is not working, this is not working, this is not working. Now let's put this and this in place. So the first one I would say is vision. Number two is clarity. And why I say clarity is because they had a very good understanding of what they wanted to do and they wrote it down, right? And number three, I would say, is consistency, because it's important that you keep doing what you are doing over a period of time. And when you were introducing me earlier, you read in my profile that, oh, he's had 15 years experience in management consulting, and I smiled at myself, right? Because and I'm happy that, oh, I didn't drop management consulting in year five to go and do something else. And after 5 years after, I say, okay, now I want to do carpentry. And after 5 years after, I say, no, I want to go and be a pilot. After 5 years after, I say I want to go into snail farming, right? It does not add up to the big picture for positioning. If you want to position as a market leader, you need to have spent enough time within that industry, right? Enough time doing what you are doing to gain that market space. And that's why it's difficult for anybody to come and outshine an example, Dangote Cement, because they've been there for a while and they know all the tricks, they've gained the experience, and over time they have gained market visibility and market positioning. So consistency is my third point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vision, consistency is very key. And then vision, don't make it static. If it requires revisiting and realigning, is also very important. That said, as part of the title of this topic, we are also concerned about winning. Yes, we have assessed quarter one. It has not really given us fully what we wanted. We are in
Yeah.
quarter two. So how do we win in quarter two, or what is remaining part of quarter two and beyond? Because if we're able to get it right in quarter two, of course, the quarter three and quarter four will be better. So, what should people stop doing immediately now
Mm.
that they are in quarter two, realizing that quarter one has not yielded the expected results?
So I will say that stay focused, stop chasing every opportunity. Um, there are some opportunities that you need to wake up and cut your losses. One of the examples is I will use is Dangote. You know, it's a very big organization. I will also use a small organization. At some point, and maybe we all heard 3 years ago, he invested over $20 million in a tomato manufacturing company. And everybody was telling him that this tomato market is big. He said, let's make it bigger, you know, big dreams. But down the line, 2 years down the line, they realized that Nigeria wasn't ready. You know, they didn't have enough produce from the farmers. Um, One thing led to the other. They decided to shut down the tomato factory. And he decided to stick to what has been working best for him, cement, and then further moved into oil, into refinery. So my point here is that it's okay to cut a loss and say, you know, this didn't work. We've tried. It's okay to cut a loss and say this didn't try and let's move on. Right? Not every opportunity that comes to you is for you. There are times when some opportunity comes and you are only supposed to be a channel to somebody else or to another organization. It's not every job that you do that's for you. And that's why sometimes we go ahead and do some jobs that we shouldn't have done or taking some projects we shouldn't have taken. And at the end of the day, we're asking ourselves, I didn't even make any money from this. We even got into more debts, really, because we shouldn't have. There are projects like that that you should just be a channel. Allow the grace of God that has come to you flow to somebody else. That project is somebody else's testimony, and that's always my opinion. That creates the opportunity for other people. Not every opportunity is for you. So saying yes to everything that comes your way is also a position killer. Thank you, man.
Saying yes that to everything that comes your way is a position killer. That that one is a powerful word to swallow because everybody wants to grab every opportunity that comes. But
Yes.
there is
Yes.
sense in what you are saying
Mm.
because maybe in another way to put it is just align yourself where you have comparative advantage and then make sure that you do your best in that area than just every dick and harry thing that comes. Thank you. We have a contribution from Dr. Asein, streaming from Abuja. Close doors. If you adopt franchising as a strategy for growth, ensure that the standard remains undiluted. That that enhances your positioning. Okay. So because it's a franchise, and if it's a franchise, the market is already known, the products or services is already known. So if you adopt it undiluted, definitely you also have the benefit of that experience established. Thank you very much, Dr. Saying. So with that said, Femi, can you help our viewers to understand better by giving three practical steps to positioning for better results in this new quarter we are? What they can do, three practical steps.
For some reason, it was breaking and I didn't hear that question.
Okay, I'll come again. I said, what are three practical steps that you can suggest to our audience to reposition for better results in quarter two?
Okay.
Did you get that?
Yes. Okay. So those three practical steps, I would say is to number one is to go back and define what do the clients really say I am, right? Go back and ask. You need to ask that question because for you to be positioned as either the best or to be positioned for better results, as you put it, you need to know, be able to get feedback. And many times we don't get that feedback from people who use our services, our products, or even people who engage us. So let's get feedback from them, and say, okay, so tell me about this product. What was the best thing you liked about this product? Right? Number two, what didn't you like? We're in a society where people hold feedback as against when you are in the um, Western world. In the Western world, they sell products based on feedback, based on what's the word? Um, what's that word? When you buy a product and somebody leaves a review. I've forgotten the name of the word now, right? But we're in a so everybody goes there. They read the reviews and they're like, okay, somebody says this product is good. This product is good. But in this part of the world, we run away from feedback. When somebody says, that your service is very poor, we feel very bad about it. So we won't be open to getting feedback. Number two is that go back and look at the message that you're passing out. The message you are passing out has to be very clear and direct. Let people, if you are selling jollof rice and chicken, let people not think that they are selling bread and butter, right? Let it be very clear. Let the your brand statement, your marketing statement, let it be as clear as possible. And if you need somebody to work on that, please get somebody to work on that, right? And then the third one is the consistency. I think that's also very important that we are consistent with what we do, with who we say we are, or what we say we are. So, for example, you can't, if you have, let's say, a Zobo brand now, a Zobo product, right? And they taste it today, and the Zobo tastes very sweet. Or the sugar is good. Tomorrow, don't go and add ginger to the Zobo and say, "Oh, let's try to give them something different." Except if you have released the product into the market that says Zobo with ginger, but don't try to change the recipe in between the way. If you are selling some, let it be the same, right? And that's why sometimes you go to the supermarket and you buy some products and you're like, this doesn't taste like what I bought the last time. What's wrong with these people? Why are they changing the taste? So it's important that you are consistent with your product or with your service. I will give an example of service based. Maybe you run a spa, and today we walk into your organization and customer service is top notch, on top of the roof. Tomorrow when they come, let's make sure that it's the same thing, right? Let's make sure that we have that same service that we had, which means that your customer service must be documented and properly systemized. Okay, thank you, ma.
Thank you. Consistency in regards the way you have put it also can be tagged as being predictable so that somebody is sure of what they are getting when they
Yes.
come for your product. So you have to be predictable. The feedback, of course, any day, anytime very is some point, is something that we should always encourage or make sure that we make room for. Constructive criticism is also very useful for us to grow, to be able to adapt to what the customer wants. So those are very important steps. I hope our audience have taken note. Now, what role does, well, we've talked about consistency. So, what role does consistency play versus strategy? If you have to compare consistency and strategy, you did get that.
Okay. Yes, I got it. I got it eventually. Right. So, what role does consistency play versus strategy? So, let's start from consistency. I will say that consistency is the one that builds the destination. Let me put it that way. While strategy is one that tells you, how are we going to go there? What's the direction? And many times we do it the other way around. We forget about strategy. Strategy is the most important thing because strategy tells us the direction to go, how to do it, right? So it's important that we do it right. First, start with building the strategy, and then consistency can go on. Because it's very possible for you to be consistent with poor service.
In the wrong, yeah, in the wrong direction.
The wrong direction. You are everybody. I don't want to mention brands right now, but there are some brands that we know, especially internet services in this country, that
Mm.
they are very consistent with poor service.
Bad,
You,
bad
you don't,
service.
yes. So you don't want to build consistency in that direction. So the first thing to do will be, let's flip it the other way around and let's focus on strategy. First, let's build a strategy to be able to dominate the market. Let's build a strategy to be able to build an exceptional service. Let's build a strategy to position ourselves as the go-to brand. Let's build strategy to dominate the market. Then now, let's begin to be consistent with doing that. So it's not the other way around, and I hope that helps.
Very correct. Very, very correct. Now, if we are looking at someone that says, right now I'm stuck, I don't know what else to do, what would be the first move you would advise such person to make right from this week?
I would say that my number one go-to strategy will be get a mentor. Um, get a mentor and have a be led by a mentor. Let me rephrase that statement. Be guided by a mentor. It's important that if you are in a certain field, you need to have somebody who has walked that path so that you can exchange notes, right? And say, oh, what did you do here? What are you doing here? Um, how can I be better in this area? What do I need to do to ensure this is better? Because the truth is, many times, if you're not careful, you slip into some kind of mood because you haven't achieved what you said you were going to achieve in quarter one, and you cannot afford to stay there. You must stay in a place where you keep trying and keep on going forward. So have a honest conversation with a mentor. And so, for example, if you are in the food industry, get somebody who has walked that path already. If you are in the medical industry, get somebody who has walked that path. Sit down with a person and say, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? What is that thing that I need to add to what I'm doing? Right? It's important that you gain clarity from that kind of a conversation. Don't do it yourself, right? Get somebody who has walked that path. And this thing doesn't come with just thinking in your mind. You actually have to speak out and speak to people, who have gone ahead of you and say, how did you do it? What did you do better? Don't, unlike what they teach us in Africa, right? They tell us, they don't share your ideas. Oh, you are in trouble. Don't speak up. Don't speak up. Oh, keep everything to yourself. Get a mentor or somebody who's walked that path before. Share your experiences. Share, the shortfalls. Share your success stories, and get help.
Thank you very much. If you have a final, because time is fast spent, final shots for our audience, what would that be? Just 1 minute, parting shots.
Okay, so yeah, if I were to just add one more thing, I will say that I'm begging you, please don't allow quarter one be like quarter two, right? It's okay to admit that things didn't go the way they should have gone. Get help. Don't sulk in the moment. Don't be filled with your emotions. Get help, and begin to position yourself to take over in quarter two. Quarter two can actually be better than quarter one. But remember that you need to be consistent and you need to be disciplined.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
Let's just quickly fit in our rapid question, which is just one word, no explanation, just one word. Like one habit to drop in quarter two.
Okay, is that to me?
Yeah, to you. It's a rapid session that you just answer with one word. One hab-
Okay,
one habit to
okay.
drop in quarter two.
Hmm. Um. Okay, so that
Procrastination.
one.
Let me borrow you procrastination because of time.
Okay, okay, that one word. Okay, I very sincere. I was going to say procrastination. But I'm like, let me not say procrastination because not everybody procrastinates,
Procrastination.
right? But yes,
Sometimes,
procrastination.
yeah, procrastination.
But
Then one
if I
habit
were
to adopt.
if I were to use the word that came to my mind, I will say don't be emotional.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
That one also fits. So one habit to adopt immediately.
get a mentor.
Vis- Visibility or value, which matters more.
Value, because value will create visibility.
Best platform for positioning today.
It depends on what you do. LinkedIn for professionals, people creatives, fashion, Instagram.
Okay. One word for success in quarter two.
Keep winning.
That's a good one. So thank you very much because of time.
Thank you
So
so
it's
much.
been it's been really really incredible. The insights you have given us today is
Yes, sir.
very top notch. We appreciate you. If there's one thing to take away in this session, I mean, success in quarter two is not going to be accidental. Don't view it as if it's going to be accidental. It is going to have to be intentional positioning, and that's why we spent quite a good time on the positioning, defining, and let us understanding it better. So it has to be intentional positioning, and it's not about doing more. It's about doing the right thing differently. Like we've talked about the consistency and strategy. It's about doing the right thing uh, consistently, and then you may still have to do some things differently, but know what you are doing is on point. So I want to take this as a call to action to our viewers that have joined us today or intend to play back the recorded version later. Don't just listen, take action. We should act on those great insights that our guests had provided for us. You can take one insight per day, maybe like take it one at a time and implement it, see how it works for you, then take another and go on like that within the next um, 3 days and see the outcome. Because clarity without action changes nothing. So we need to take action. That's in essence that one is saying. So I would like to acknowledge the presence of those that joined us online while your uh, interview was going on. And perhaps some of them are your friends that you know, and for you to know that it's been very engaging. So I have some names I've been able to pick. One of our regular Femi Jaye Simi joined from Lagos. Dr. Abel Aseyin from Abuja, he also contributed as usual. Omotola the Great joined from New Jersey, thank you. Taiwo Ojo joined from Abuja, one of our regular also. Chris, I don't know if I, Patasil, something like that. If I don't get the name correctly pronounced, forgive me. That's the way it appears. And then there's something at RN Grage 3121. There's no name. That was it's an email address, I believe. Thank you for joining us. Then Bayo Banjo, thank you for joining us. Tola Akishola, um, Ade Adeshino, Rodriguez, or something like that. Thank you for joining us. Pardon me for any wrong pronunciation. Then the young grow, you know yourself. Maybe young shall grow or young grow. Young grow is the name that is there from Abuja. Thank you for joining us. And then Sax Shimita Words. Thank you. Those are the names I've been able to pick quickly while we were on. In case I didn't mention your name and you join, we appreciate you. Please keep on the winning spirit on. My special appreciation, of course, goes to our special guest of today, who has done us so proud as usual, Mr. Dr. Pardon me, Dr. Olufemi Olumide. Thank you very much. You've done wonderfully well, and I believe you have impacted some people and bring maybe light into the quarter two and beyond of their businesses or personal growth. I appreciate all that have joined us today. I appreciate your time. I pray that the essence or the desire of this show will be met in order to add value to people, the enterprise, and their personal growth. Thank you all for joining. So, like I always say, if you found this session valuable, don't keep it to yourself. Try and share with others who may also need the insight so that they can also benefit from it. I believe we've had a great session on the power of positioning today. And like I said, if you find it valuable, tag a friend or send a message to someone. And most importantly, like I said earlier, take action so that you can benefit from what you have learned. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Comfort Eyitayo. And once you have done, click the notification button, like and share our videos. Stay updated with information about our upcoming events, solutions, and offers on my Instagram account at Comfort Eyitayo, as well as my Facebook account at Comfort Eyitayo. Till I come your way again, I say keep winning, aim to perform in quarter two stronger, smarter, and more strategic. Goodbye and God bless you.